The grooming gangs inquiry, here's the headline, is toxic, according to a police chief who was lined up to lead it. And what's happened, I'm going to show you a clip of the Minister Jess Phillips speaking on Tuesday. We showed this yesterday, but things have worsened around her. So she said all this following the first bout of resignations.
Allegations of intentional delay, lack of interest or widening of the inquiry's scope and dilution are false. The inquiry will remain laser-focused on grooming gangs, as Baroness Casey recommended.
So I'm just making the point that what's happened here is there 3 or 4 people have now stepped down from this grooming gangs inquiry. I say stepped down, they've really walked out on it. They were survivors of abuse. And what happened, and I didn't really realise this at the time, Annunziata, is if you point at a survivor and you say your allegations are false, it's very, very, very hurtful, because that's what they've been told the whole of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's compounding the problem. And one of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons we need this inquiry is that officials ignored these girls for so long, and it looks like they're doing it again. And as you say, compounding the problem.
Can you see, just for our viewers, can you work out what it is that has caused these people to walk away from the inquiry, why they're so upset?
They've all raised very similar concerns, that they were silenced in the process, that their questions to the potential chairs, who've now both pulled out, were vetted before they could be put to them, that they're not even allowed to talk to their families about it. They're not allowed to share their impressions or feelings about the inquiry, and I think that is very damaging. But they weren't included in setting the terms of reference.
Exactly, that's
and that is the crucial part. And that this has got to be victim-centred.
It's got, yeah. So what's happened, Kevin? It seems is that they think it's being just gently widened, so the point it won't have any target at all.
Yeah, there's a panel of about 30, and of course everyone has suffered a horrendous experience abuse, but they all come with different politics and outlooks on the style and the shape, the substance of the inquiry. And this is back to the future, because there was Theresa May, when she was Prime Minister, set up an inquiry. It lasted 6 years. Alexis Jay chaired it, who was a social work professor. The previous 2 chairs were vetoed by the survivors. So you could see you've got people who are traumatised. They're living what happened to them every day. They don't trust authority. So it is difficult to get everybody to agree. And Jim Gamble, who was one of the 2 proposed chairs, another was Annie Hudson, from a social work background. He's got an international reputation for tackling child sexual exploitation. But he's talking about it, and it's in the Telegraph and other papers, becoming so toxic now, and he blames the other opposition parties of playing political football with this, and he also says that the survivors have been disrespected and misinformed.
Let me just show you Keir Starmer, who defended his minister's position, Jess Phillips' position, at Prime Minister's Questions yesterday.
I respect the views of all the survivors, and there are different views. I accept that. But the Safeguarding Minister, I think, has probably more experience than any other person in this House in dealing with violence against women and girls. Alongside her will be Louise Casey. These 2 individuals, Mr. Speaker, have spent decades standing up for those who've been abused and sexually exploited. And I absolutely think they're the right people to take this forward.
I mean, I respect the views of the survivors, but that but is, you could hear it coming, couldn't you?
That but is terrible. That it has got to be the victims that matter, the victims that are heard, and that their justice is provided. It was Jess Phillips who tried to stop there being an inquiry in the first place.
But you're absolutely right. The victims, survivors, need to be heard, but they don't all speak with one voice. That is what the government is now finding, and it's in turmoil, this inquiry.
If they can't trust the process, nor can the public.
It's not all one person, is Kevin's point.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing.